Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 228. That's right. You are now in the number one wholesaling podcast of all time. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. If you don't have a deal out there, go and find one. Go and have a quality conversation with a property owner today, not tomorrow, today, or somebody that represents them. I'm joined by the incredible Pace Morby and the universal Jerry Norton.
In the Montana studio.
Yeah, Montana studio. We're out here like John Denver, just writing music up here in our studio. I'm super curious. We got Jerry Norton with us.
Yep.
He's got this amazing company called PropWire. I'm curious, what would you say is the number one list that your customers enjoy pulling off of PropWire?
Great question. Absentee owner seems to be a really popular one. I think we get a lot of people that like that one. What's great about it is you can do list stacking on PropWire, and it's really easy. You literally just checkbox other motivation types that you want to add to any of them. So what's great about that one is you can do, high equity or free and clear, and then you can do out of state. So not only is it absentee, but it's out of state, free and clear. So you can keep adding filters to either make the list bigger or smaller. I guess if you add filters, it'd be make it smaller, but then you can kind of dial in on that motivation. So it's pretty fun.
Why? What is an absentee owner, first and foremost, for the newbies in here?
Yeah, so it's a really simple classification. It just means it's a non-owner occupant. So it's somebody that owns a property that's not their primary residence, which typically means it's buy and hold investors.
Okay, so a guy probably like me, I'm an absentee owner. I don't own those properties that I have. By the way, you can't get a hold of me. I block all unknown numbers because I know y'all are learning how to cold call from Brent Daniels already, but blasting me to death. Your text messages still come through, gosh dang it. Okay, so the majority of not a majority, but a lot of your clients are pulling absentee owners, and then they're stacking them on top of that with another list, is what you're saying. What would be that list?
Other filters. Yeah, so not only absentee, because you could be absentee but live in the same town, and which is fine. It's still probably a buy and hold investor. Also, we do tired landlords. So you could stack that on top of that. Now, what we do with a tired landlord, we just have a simple filter that says they've owned it for more than 10 years. So they could be not tired, but that's just how we call a tired landlord. So it's absentee. You could filter that with tired. They've owned it for a while. The idea there is, hey, maybe they're sick of that, so maybe they want to sell it. Maybe it needs a bunch of work and they don't feel like updating it. Maybe it's vacant now and they got to spend money, don't want to. And then you can keep adding more filters. You could add out of state. So not only is it not their primary and they've owned it for a while or not for a while, but they live out of state, because it's always harder to manage properties out of state. So that out of state filter just stacks one more motivation, right, to that lead. And so you just can keep adding these filters to make your list more condensed and more powerful, because now you've got multiple motivations going on.
Okay, so Star Arthur says, Pace, don't hold the Stanley with two hands. This is a free country, especially in Montana. First and foremost. Secondly, I really like what Graydon says. Graydon says, lists don't work unless you do. Good point. Another thing I really like, I want to bring this up. I love PropWire. A lot of people in the community are using PropWire. I think we should have a time, maybe next week, where Jerry Norton comes on and shows us how to use PropWire. Would you show people how to use pull a list?
Oh yeah. And we've just added some cool new features like this past week. So if anybody's been using it, you've probably seen those, but yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to.
Okay, cool. So what I see from your local handyman, he says, PropWire is amazing. I get a lot of great conversations from there, but it shows incorrect data. However, I still proceed. Jerry, have you ever seen any software ever only give good data 100% of the time?
Yeah, it's like skip tracing. I hear everybody, this skip tracing is amazing. In the same thread, people will say that skip tracing sucks. I mean, data is only as good as it's recorded. And, there's always room for error, so that's just part of the game but we're always working on it. So I will say this, we are continually putting the data at the forefront. So we're always working on getting better data, updating it faster, right? Because we know the name of the game is having accurate data. So we're always working on that.
Brent, any list that you guys are loving right now?
Yeah, the number one list for the Rhino Tribe is US Lead List. USLeadList.com. It's the pre-probate space. So it's a smaller list, but it is people that have recently passed away, and they match it up with the fact that they do have actual property that they own. And so it's before you get the probate recordings, before it really hits, public data. US Lead List has really proprietary technology, and they've been around forever. And I had tried to get US Lead List in Phoenix for years, probably 7 years before
they
they
have a waiting list.
Company. What's that?
Did they have a waiting list or something?
It was a waiting list. Yeah, I was on a waiting list forever with the old owners, and Micah Nichols ended up buying it and buying the company, and just done a phenomenal job of keeping it pretty tight with the amount of licenses per area. But also opening it up a little bit to be more reasonable for other people to be able to go after those lists. And they've been absolutely phenomenal. Number one for cold calling. I would say number one for direct mail as well as that list. Some, when family members inherit a property, it's a burden in a lot of ways, because the person responsible for kind of directing the traffic of what's going to happen with that property is getting, attacked on all sides by family members that, kind of want a piece of the action and want their opinions in there. So it can be very, very turbulent times in the family. And so being able to solve those problems has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
What the heck is pre-probate, bro? Like, are you determining when somebody's going to die or something? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So what they do is they go through the obituaries and scrape the obituaries before it actually gets to the courts, before it's actually recorded in the courts as a probate. And so you get a little bit of time before, everybody gets the lists, and you can download them from anywhere. And so, yeah, I didn't know what that was either. I was like, how do you get pre-probate? That sounds like
they're about to die.
Made up thing, right? But
people that are buying like heart medication or something, it's like, we're pulling medication.
They're on hospice.
Yeah, they're on hospice.
People that get like free packs of tobacco or something, you know what I mean? Free cigarette packs in the mail type of thing. So I don't know.
Based on this one for buyers, we have a really cool feature in PropWire where first it searches cash buyers and it searches flippers. So if the deed's transferred in 18 months, we consider that possibly a flipper. But one thing that's really cool is when you go to the owner tab on those buyers, it will actually tell you how many properties they own. So it's really cool because you can see how serious your buyer is by their portfolio. And it gives you a really good gauge of who that buyer is and what they're doing.
Would you say that most buyers are not like me in the sense that they're not hyper structured? Like if I showed you my corporate structure, you would never be able to see what I own.
But do you use the same address for all your entities?
Yes.
That's how we do it.
I use a registered agent.
Yeah. So what we do is we don't really care about the LLC. We care about the address that's registered. So because everyone has multiple entities, like that's how I do it too. So it'd be impossible to track down a player by their LLCs, but almost all investors use the same address. So then we track it by their registered address, not their entity necessarily.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now I'm curious about my LLCs. I almost want to like go.
We could look it up and see what it shows.
I don't want. Let me see.
Do it without the screen on.
Let's go look at it. No, I want to show them. Let's do it. Maricopa County record. What is assessor? I want to go to assessor or a recorder's office. Let's go.
Well, if you know an address, we could pull it up and see what it shows.
Let's go. What on PropWire or what?
Yeah.
Give me a login for PropWire, dog?
It just go to propwire.com.
What? Don't make it that easy, bro. Like, okay, PropWire.
You have your own account. You just don't know it. Okay, now put an address in.
Okay. 2720 North Sterling Avenue, Mesa. Search.
Try it now. I didn't find it.
Okay.
Type it in slow and see if it auto-populates.
2720 North.
Keep going.
Sterling Ave.
No, it's
It
not
might
finding
not
it.
be Ave, though. It might be just Mesa. I might be throwing the thing.
There it is.
No, I don't think it likes the north, maybe.
Okay.
Well, like it might not be grabbing the N. All right, where are you?
How about this one? Let's do this one. 1550 North 40th Street.
That's probably not going to find you. Oh, yeah, well.
Mesa,
there you are.
Arizona.
1550.
Unit 11. Okay, let's do it.
Which one are you?
Unit 7. Jerry lived there for a year and he doesn't even know the address.
No, I don't. Okay, now go to the owner tab up here.
Okay.
Oh, you are going to have to log in to do it.
Can I get a free sign
Yeah,
up?
do it right real quick. You have one already, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, well, we won't go through that then. Here's what we'll do. We'll go Maricopa County Recorder, search documents. No, it's assessor. We want assessor. We want Maricopa County Assessor. That's what we want. Okay, let's do this. Parcel viewer, property tax. No, go here. Oh, all right, check it out. Let's go 2720. Oh, or Arizona Corporation Commission. I could do that.
And what are you looking for right now?
Could see, man, even what's up with this address? It might not be a PropWire thing. It might be that I don't even know my address.
You might have your address wrong.
I suck. Here's the last one we'll do. We'll do Arizona Corporation Commission. Check this out. I think Jerry's right about this. If I go to the Arizona Corporation search and I type in, let's say, moving forward ventures. Check this out. Let's see if it pulls up the same address. Okay, moving forward ventures. I should pull that up on the assessor's website. But yes, look at this. This is interesting. Shows proof right here, Jerry. So 1846 Innovation Park Drive, blah, 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 Oro Valley, right? That's my address for this LLC. So if I go back to another LLC, let's go Sell Easy AZ or Sell Easy. That's my wholesale company.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Yeah, same thing. There's the address.
Yeah,
You're right.
So we would search by that.
My LLCs have the same address. Okay, so you would search by that. Got it.
I'm going to look up yours right on my phone right now.
Okay, Jerry's going to pull it up on the line. Yeah, 2720 North Sterling Avenue in Mesa, Arizona. If I get a deal and get a contract signed, do I just call a title company and give them my contract? Or how do I go about that step after signed contract, Brent Daniels?
Yeah, I love it, Brandon. By the way, congratulations when you do get that locked in. Get a referral to a really great escrow officer. It's going to make or break your business. That is your first teammate is going to be a exceptional escrow officer and or closing attorney, depending on what state you're in, Brandon, and everybody else in the audience. And what we do is we actually take, we have this app called Turbo Scan, and you're able to just scan in the purchase agreement and it turns it into a PDF. We send it immediately over to the title company to open up escrow before we leave the house. Now, obviously, if you're doing this virtually or the owner of the property signed through some sort of e-signature, then you already have it, just forward it over to them. But we like making a little bit of a show of it on the appointment because it shows that we've really solidified our commitment to this seller, that we're opening up escrow so that the title company can go through with all of their checklist of things that they need to do to make sure that when the property sells, the ownership is transferred without any liens. And so that's their job. But I'm telling you, you get a really, really, really great escrow officer. Dina, my escrow officer, she's working Saturdays. She's working Sundays. She was closing a deal for us Friday at 8:45 p.m. Couldn't record it till Monday, but was getting everything done. You need somebody that's absolutely obsessed with closing deals. You need an escrow officer that is really well versed in all sorts of different closings, whether it be a double close, a double escrow, an assignment, keeping deals open to save you fees if you're going to quickly flip those properties is really, really, really key. So make sure that you get a really outstanding escrow officer, and you should be able to get that by just getting referrals from people that you trust in your marketplace.
Somewhere up there. The here's a cheat code. I'll give you guys all a cheat code. Email Molly at.
Oh, you cut out there, Pace. Looks like they're frozen for a little bit, guys. So I'm not sure if they have to come back in, but as they're frozen, I will show you guys. This is something that I put in on my live show. This is my marketing breakdown until they can come back here. Let me show you this. This is my marketing breakdown for the last 12 months. This is our exact numbers. This isn't any. I wish this was bigger. Can we get this? Where's the zoom button? Will you show me, Matt? I have no idea what you're talking about. We'll zoom this in, guys. But this is the breakdown of all the different marketing channels that we're currently implementing in our business and the return on investment and what's. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thanks, Matt. There you go. You can see, guys, that there's texting, cold calling, PPC, TV, Facebook, JV referral, and pay per lead. You can see the big elephant in the room is our pay-per-click. We have now made that transition. And this is a conversation that Jerry and I have had so many times, so many times is Jerry calls it 4 phases. I call it 5. There's a little bit of nuance, but the first phase is get proof of concept. Close your first deal. This is absolutely fundamental. Make sure that you understand that through your efforts, you can go out by picking up your phone and having a good quality conversation with the property owner. You can run your whole business. All right. But you have to make sure that you get proof of concept first. This is really going to just springboard you into the next stage, which is to get consistency. This is when you're closing deals on a consistent basis to where you can choose to go full time. You can choose to walk into your boss's office and say, hey, thank you so much for this opportunity, but I am now transitioning full time into my real estate business, into my real estate career, and boom, you're off and running. And then this is the tricky point, and this is the part that Jerry really speaks well to. That third point, the next level, when you're starting to hire people and grow and develop your business, that's where 90% of wholesalers backslide into being self-employed and not a true business owner. All right. And that's when it comes from, you start making, it's like a teeter-totter where all of a sudden when you're starting out, you're being real proactive, you're getting super high return on your investment because you're going out there through your efforts, through your talents, through your skills and abilities. You're going out there and initiating those conversations with property owners. What happens if you really want to scale and get really nice profitability and really get great talent, you need inbound leads to be able to feed them because it's a much shorter timeline to close those deals, and that's when you can really start pouring money into your marketing, growing your business exponentially. But you got to make sure that you're tracking all of these: the income, the cost, the amount of deals, your average income per deal, your average cost per deal, and what your ROI is. This is my results in my business the last 12 months. You can open up my my QuickBooks and see all this. This is just to make it look good
Brent,
and clean. So there it is.
Brent, how has that changed from? I've seen it. I just can't remember. How's that changed from even a year ago?
It's completely changed. I mean, really, truly.
Where was cold calling?
Cold calling was much higher, much higher the year before. Texting was much higher before they really started changing all of the different settings with the carriers. And
do you see PPL going up more in the future, or are you not putting a lot of budget to that right now?
Well, here's the difference. If you can't afford PPC and your schedule is really kind of congested, you can't be available all the time, PPL is phenomenal. But PPL, in my opinion, Jerry, it ebb and flows. The best PPL leads are the ones that are search-based. They start getting watered down by interruption-based leads, which is YouTube, which is Facebook, which is Instagram, which is some of these other leads that say, hey, listen, we buy houses. It's more of an ad. It's more of an interruption, as opposed to the top tier best leads of all time is somebody literally typing in, sell my house fast without a realtor. Sell my house for cash. You know, that type of thing. And once you get those leads, it's slam dunks. It's absolutely phenomenal. The teams love it. But it costs you to be able to be in that position. And you have to really season your Google account for it to make sense. So,
hey, before we move on, I just want to make sure I don't miss out on the cheat code. Sorry, guys, I had to reboot my computer. It couldn't handle so much handsomeness on one screen.
Too much.
Too much. So the cheat code, Molly is my chief of operations. She runs all my transactions. We do transactions in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico, even though that's not part of the United States. Okay, it is. But she does transactions everywhere. Subto, seller finance, novation agreements, lease options, wraps, land contracts, agreements for sale, cash deals, all the things. Email Molly at pacemorby.com and say, Molly, where is Pace? What title company is Pace using in Atlanta? What title company is Pace using in Florida? And Molly will tell you who we use and who we vetted in all of those 50 states.
I'm going to do that.
Molly at pacemorby.com. All right.
Well, and you guys will have this problem. You know, you guys have exciting new title company being released, right, Pace?
It's only available to the Subto and Gator community for the next 6 months or so as we work with it. So she'll refer you out to other people, sadly, but I won't make any money on that. All we know is that we did something nice for you. Brent Daniels, what is PPC, PPL, and paper contract, paper lead? I don't know what these are. Happy Days needs to know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So every time you go into Google and you type into Google, that's a search. And so people will do what's PPC, which is called pay per click. All those sponsored ads that show up right after you search are companies that have sponsored to be in those spots. So when you click on that, it actually costs people money. And so to be able to be in those positions, I mean, you're anywhere from $5 a click to $300 a click.
So don't click on those, Brent, unless you're a serious seller.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's going to cost somebody
charge Brent $5 if you do.
Yeah, that's it.
Mari Solar, she says, what kind of wholesale contract do you guys use for commercial real estate? I'm currently working with a real estate agent trying to get one under an assignable contract for 48 units out of Jacksonville, brand new 2024 construction. So a couple of things. I just got 200 units under contract today in Colorado Springs, seller finance, another $20 million deal. No big deal.
It's just another day.
And in those situations, this is what happens. Typically, when there's a broker involved, the broker is the one that creates the contract. And even if it's a Subto or a seller finance contract or a cash transaction, does not matter. They use their form, their contract, and then we add our addendums to it to adjust for whatever their stuff is missing. So the one in Colorado Springs, we're taking it over Subto, and he's seller financing a portion of it. Their standard state contract does not have a place for all of those things. So we added a Subto addendum that came from our team, but their team, the broker, is who created the contract. So if you're going through a broker, a real estate agent, Marisol, they typically 99% of the time want to use their contract.
Yeah.
And I would say that most contracts that I've ever seen, Jerry, Brent, you tell me if I'm wrong, they are all assignable as a standard document, even if they don't say they're assignable. Is that correct?
Yes. In fact, so if a contract does not say it's not assignable, it's assignable. All contracts are assignable unless stated otherwise.
All contracts are assignable unless stated otherwise.
And that's why, like, things that is very commonly taught is you put, Pace Morby LLC and or assigns, meaning Pace is the buyer or his entity is the buyer and or whoever he assigns it to. Nothing wrong with that, but that's sort of redundant. If there is not a no assignment clause, you actually don't need to put that in there because your contract's already assignable.
Okay, so this is the kind of stuff, I want to pull this up. This is just a text message between me, Molly, and a real estate agent. I want to pull this up and show this to you guys so you can kind of see how this works out. Actually, I'll show you the first one. I get a deal under contract or verbal contract, and then I work with the real estate agent and I say, hey, who do you want to send the contract, right? So she says, let's see, we're going back and forth negotiating. Perfect. Let's do 3 p.m. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. For example, I asked her, who do you want to do the contract? And she said, we can use yours. Okay, here it is. This is with a real estate agent. I'm negotiating a subto and seller finance deal in this text. I will pull it up in just a second. Give me a second. I'm not as fast as I used to be, guys.
I think you're really fast.
I'm getting old. I'm getting really, really old. Okay, so we're going through, I'm negotiating back and forth. We're talking, we're voice memoing. This is a deal I just closed on the 16th, a sub-2 deal, saved a family from foreclosure, got the agent paid, etc. And then she said, oh, this is me. I say, by the way, look at this. I always ask for a testimonial, my friends. I'm asking the sellers for a testimonial. And I asked the agent, I said, any chance I can interview you about our deal? Always ask your agents and your sellers for testimonials. Okay, guys? All right. She says, up here, somewhere up here. I told her, I'm 99% sure I'm your buyer on this deal. What would your seller allow me to put down as deposit? Looking for the smallest available, obviously. Also, what level did you lower your commission to? Okay. So this was the 10th, then the 11th. She says, let me know if you think we can work something out. As you can imagine, they're quite anxious. By the way, Brent has said this so many times, my friends. He has said, we are not deal creators. Mm-hmm. Okay, we don't create deals. I don't force a seller or an agent into a transaction, right?
Deal finders, not deal creators. Yep.
I found a seller in pain and an agent who's also in pain. And okay, so I said, I'm ready to move forward. Can they do a smaller amount down and then get the rest after I stabilize the home? This is how I seller finance my down payments to my agents. Okay. Got it. So I said, would you be willing to do it on your commission? I got the agent to take half their commission down and half their commission a year later. Okay, cool.
That's pretty cool. You finance the agent's commission.
Yes. Okay, so
just because you asked.
Dang it. I freaking did not have this in writing. It sounds like we were going back and forth on voice memo, but I asked, oh, here it is. She says, I think your contract is fine, but I'll double check. And then I said, cool, I'll get Molly involved. Guys, I don't write my own contracts. I don't send my own contracts. I use a transaction coordinator. And so Molly, my transaction coordinator, this is how I open escrow. You guys want to see how a gangster opens escrow? Let me show you. A gangster opens escrow. Let me do a little new screen share. By group chatting your TC. That's not it. My bad, guys. Hold on just a second. I know I'm a little clunky here.
It's just such a bad use of time to be.
Such a bad use of time. People like over stress out about learning all the paperwork stuff. It's like, no, hire somebody who knows it. So here's the deal. I'm willing to give you guys the address because I've already closed on it. So I said, Molly and Heather, I put them in a group chat. This is the agent. This is Molly. This is how I get my contracts done. I said, Heather Bowen, Molly Tennant, my TC. Here's the address. Subto contract needs to be sent today.
Hi, Molly takes over.
And then Molly takes over. And look, I never, ever communicate in that group chat ever again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you open escrow. Molly
And
then
that's
takes
really,
it.
I mean, if you're going to be a real estate investor, you need to be the rainmaker, right? The deal maker. Like all my creative deals and even my cash, I do this with cash deals too. And it's just, let me get the deal structure put together, then hand that off to your TC and let them hand hold that thing all the way to closing. When you get if you're doing wholesaling, when you get your buyer, hand that off. Let your TC handle between cash buyer and you, that part of it too, like the whole thing.
Right.
What if you can't afford a TC?
You have your buyer pay for the TC. This was what I used to do. I would put a TC line item on the settlement statement and my buyer would pay that fee. So I just always have my buyer pay the fee. I just say, hey, it's going to be my assignment fee plus the doc prep and all that kind of stuff. I always have a TC on my stuff, and my buyer, I've never had a buyer have a problem with it.
Yeah. In your assignment,
where can you find go ahead. Sorry, Jerry.
I was just gonna say, in your assignment, you have a clause that says buyer agrees to pay a TC fee of $500 or whatever. I think I've had someone have a problem with that maybe once or twice ever. Most cash buyers will just pay it. And then it goes on the settlement statement as a fee paid directly to the TC. Not all TCs will do that though. They won't wait. Some want paid.
This is what I would do. Again, I'm going to give you another cheat code. Email Molly at pacemorby.com and she will put you in touch with a TC in your state that she has personally trained. She has a group of women. It's about 500 women in the country called top tier TCs, transaction coordinators. Molly has personally trained them. And Molly runs all of my transactions. She runs my portfolio. She knows everything about creative finance, cash. She's been an agent for 18 years. She's the best of the best of the best. She will connect you with a TC in your state. Email Molly at pacemorby.com. Okay. What up, everybody? Where are my Florida cash buyers? Jerry, how easy is it to find buyers on PropWire?
So easy. You just go put the cash buyer filter, pick your area, and there you go. You have a list.
It can't be that easy.
It's that easy. You can look up cash buyers. Those are people that are going to be that we categorize them as owning the property. So those are the owners, but they bought cash. Or you can check, there's a flipped properties category. So those would be if you're specifically looking for flippers.
Do you have a login to PropWire or do I need to get it? Should I get a free, should I get a free sign up?
Do it. Maybe you don't show it while you're on here, but just
why not?
Yeah,
if you want, someone will log in under you.
Do you know my password?
No.
Should I sign up a new account? We'll get some buyers.
Just do a new account.
Okay, new account.
So Jerry, you pull a list of cash buyers from PropWire. You have the list, but does it come with their contact info, or do you have to go another step?
So then you got to skip trace. So you got to skip trace, right?
But you could go to like True People Search for free.
Yeah.
Right. True People Search. It's not, I'd say it's 60% good data. It's not the best data on the planet, but it's free. Right.
Cyber background checks too is good.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
But I mean, here's what I do. Your ideal cash buyer is a local active investor in the same neighborhood.
Yep.
So I've never not found a buyer for a property in the same neighborhood. So I call that the neighborhood flipper technique, where really you're just looking for, okay, who's actively doing deals in the same neighborhood as my property, because all investors like to do deals in the same neighborhood where they've previously done deals. So, if I find 50 or 100 in my neighborhood, or even 15 or whatever, what's that going to cost me in skip tracing? On PropWire, it's 10 cents a skip. So like almost nothing. And then you're in front of a buyer that's probably going to be interested. As long as you have a deal, that's the fastest way to find a buyer.
What do you say to him, Jerry? What do you call up this buyer and say?
You say exactly this. You say, hey, I noticed that you did a deal, or you bought a property, you flipped a house on XYZ Street. I have a property a block away from that I'm looking to sell. Are you interested?
Love it.
I want to call a buyer. Let's see if I can call a buyer.
I love Jamil. Jamil has a little nuance to it, Jerry, where he'll go and look at the deal they just flipped, and he'll pick out something, whether it be cabinets, whether it be flooring, whether it be a textured wall, whether it be, some landscaping, and he'll be like, that was amazing. Really great job there. Right. And just so that you don't sound like, you're just kind of plugging and chugging type of thing. You're giving them a little bit, you're breaking their pattern a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have that resistance a little bit because they don't know like if you're like legit or if you're going to send them a bunch of garbage, but then you throw a little bit, you sprinkle a little bit of extra effort on there. All of a sudden you've got a buyer that you can work with forever. So that's something that I learned from Jamil, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll do is if it's flippers, then that means if they're sold flips, then the agent information is on Zillow or Redfin. I would prefer to call the agent instead of skip trace and call the buyer all day long, because the agent will track down that buyer. They're going to know that buyer's habits usually, and they're going to be more than motivated to contact their buyer, because that means they're going to get another listing if the buyer buys your property. So I don't even pay agents, and they're happy to do that because they know it's going to equal more business for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a deal in a certain area, you should be on Zillow or Redfin or wherever and look at all of the active listings, and if you can, the pendings as well. And if you can filter for pendings, it's even better. And call those agents up that have the flips. Those ones are hot. That you know that they're active right now, and if they've just sold their property or accepting offers on a property, they're done with their project, they're probably likely to want to do another one in that area.
Okay, so here's, guys, anybody that wants to follow along with me, go to propwire.com, and we're going to go through, and Jerry's going to coach me. Okay, I just signed up for a free account. I have $0 in my account. I've spent $0 to get here. Okay, Jerry, you can't be giving this kind of crap away, bro.
Free.
I don't know
Totally
what
free.
your problem is. Okay, I want to find a buyer anywhere in the country. What do I do?
Find a city. Let's say you've got a property in, where did she say, Jacksonville, or where did she say?
She said somebody says has a deal
Florida.
in Florida.
She didn't say. So just pick something in Florida. Pick Jacksonville.
I love
so if you go to right here, go Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Put the Ville in. Florida, there it is, down a few. Do that one. Yep.
Jacksonville.
Now go
Florida.
to lead type.
Lead type.
And go to cash buyers.
Okay.
80,000. Now we can put some filters in and say, I only want to see cash buyers that bought in the past year or whatever.
Okay. I want to sort these. I want to be like people.
You do it by price, maybe.
Okay. Property types. Let's do single family.
There you go.
Okay. 49,000.
Yep.
I want to max the price out at 400,000.
Okay.
Still
now you're down to 30.
Gosh dang, dude.
Yep. Do you have to put absentee in there, Jerry?
You could stack it if you want. So go to lead type. Yeah, that's a great idea, Brent. Now hit that match. Hit that. Then you got cash, and then go to absentee. See what that brings it down to. 14. That's a little better list.
Okay, 14,000.
And why did Brent, you guys understand why Brent said that? Because 30% of homes are owned free and clear. So what Brent's saying is, let's get rid of owner occupied cash buyers. We don't want to talk to them. We want to talk to investors.
Yep.
So now go back to your list, and there's a couple cool things here. There's the map, which shows when you put your mouse over the record, it shows you where it's at on the map. But look here, it says off market, absentee owner, and it's got 4 other things. So put your mouse over the 4. Cash buyer, free and clear. So it tells you all the different things at a glance, out of state. So this one's got all kinds of things going on. Go to owner. So these guys, it's trying to find it right now.
I bet it's a hedge fund.
Yeah, it looks like one, doesn't it? Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow, they have $4 billion in their portfolio.
That's a hedge fund.
14,000.
That's a big one.
And they're out of California.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So they only have 357 billion in debt. Do you see that?
King's Mortgage. Oh, Tricon.
You know them?
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. So good luck trying to get a hold of somebody there, but you get the idea. So if you go back, you could try another one.
I bet you we could get a hold of somebody at Tricon easy.
I bet you can get a hold of the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
For Tricon?
Yeah. I mean, I would
What's
just
cool
Google
is
that address.
Look at this. They're in Indy. They like Indianapolis. They like Indiana. They're all over. Look at all these properties.
I would see if there's a buyer's agent attached to that. If it was listed and shows who the selling agent was, and try to reach out to them.
Yeah,
and
access so go to history. Funds. So these guys, let's see. So it looks like they might have been wholesale too or something because, well, no, that's probably them. They just transferred it, right? They're 2013B property owner, and then they did a transfer to their other entity.
I would probably do purchased in the last year. Or
Yeah, you could add that filter. Yeah. So that would be more. Probably go to financial, and it might be under something else. Last sale date.
There you go.
Pick a date, like click on the 22nd there. Yeah. And then you could do today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. 856.
So these, I would call these active buyers, right? Because they bought in the last year. So now click on one of these and let's do the same thing. Go to owner. Okay. This might be another big one. Okay. Probably another fund.
Wow.
It's open door.
Oh yeah. Okay. So go
look at the mailing address.
That one. Let's find a mom and pop.
Yeah.
Look at, there's a dumpster in the front yard. Hit owner.
That's a flipper right there.
16. Okay, now this would be a great buyer to contact.
Guys, this is a good buyer that you'll go play golf with and go on double dates with. Like 16 properties in their portfolio.
My favorite pace are when I see 16 and then I see their name, which is very common. Yeah. You're like, dude, you don't even own these in an entity. But this is, look, their address is even Jacksonville, Florida. So they're in town, these guys.
That's good.
Now, you could just single skip that if you wanted. You'd have to fund your account with some money.
Could I, even though it's in a corporation?
It would good question. I don't know what it would find. We do them all the time. So, yeah, or you can do it that way.
So it does work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. San Marcos Investments. Come on, bro.
Was it listed, Pace?
That's the other thing I would do. I would Google the address.
Yep.
And then we could call an agent and be like, hey,
yep,
we see your buyer has some properties, you know.
Okay.
Now I would hone this in even more. If I actually had a deal in Jacksonville, I could draw a map and say, just show me properties in this boundary and start there first. Because you still had 800. So you don't want to call 800 all 800. I would start with.
Okay. So Ryan Corson right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Corson.
Yeah, but look at Carrie Davis is the one. That represented the buyer.
Yeah, but this guy listed it for the investor, right? Because is this active or sold? Sold. Oh, it sold a long time ago. So that's probably not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's just an old listing, right?
Yeah.
But if it was active or if it sold recently, you could call the agent and have the same conversation. Say, hey, I see you represent an investor. I got a property. Can you have your buyer?
Did you do the property? Will you search the property address Pace instead of the mailing address on that?
Yes, sir. I searched it.
That's the mailing address.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the address on the thing. Right here.
No, that's not
you're
that.
right. I'm sorry, Brent.
I mean, look at all. By the way, before you click off here, absentee owner, cash buyer, free and clear, high equity and cash free and clear would be the same, but that's kind of a cool. I like looking at that at a glance.
There we go. There we go.
When did that sell? 22.
Sold.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Now wait, go back to the history on that one because that's a mom and pop. So go to history. Let's see what they did. So it doesn't tell us. What did they do here? Well, we're looking at the wrong one if we want to see what they flipped it for. So go back to PropWire or just click out there. Yeah. And go to lead type and switch cash buyer to flipped. So put it on that one, uncheck that one, check that one. See what this finds. There we go. And then go to history. So who knows what's going on here? Let's see if we can find a good one. Doesn't tell us. Try a different one. What we're looking for is they bought it for 200, sold it for 400, like that kind of thing.
Guys, by the way, this process that we're going through right here is part of the game.
Open door.
Yeah.
So look at this, guys. Open door bought this for 336 and just turned around and sold it for 370.
They lost money.
Look at, they did it fast too. 329 to 510.
They lost money.
Oh, for sure.
They
only look to make a few bucks, like their margins are so tight.
But even then at 336, 300, you pay closing costs on top of that, right? So they're really closing at 340. You sell
but
it 370.
They'll get money. They'll get money back at closing. They'll probably get 30 grand.
And they
back
charge commissions and stuff to the people. But that's Open Door, so they're active. Go back to click out here. Yeah, just click another one. Let's see if we can find a real flipper. Any of these, and then go to history. That looks like a flip. Perfect. Look at this. So John sold it to Kaylee Land LLC for $185. They turned around and sold it for $315, and they did it in 3 months.
That's great.
Yeah, that's an awesome flipper. I would want to know this guy.
So it's $130,000 spread.
Now they have a rehab, but still, that's what you want to see. You want to see a big spread in a fast time. So these guys know what they're doing. Now let's go to owner on this one. It's not going to be right though, because owner would be the new owner and they flipped it. Yeah. So that's just that guy.
Look at the old listing.
Yeah. So now what would we do on this one? Yeah. So now let's go back to property. Now Google that address.
Mm-hmm.
This is so fun. I could do this crap all day. And then
why are we Googling this address?
Because let's see what he sold it. He sold it, right? So let's see who he. So there's that 315. He sold it, last summer. But who was his agent on the sale of that? Look how nice he did. Dude, this guy killed it.
Yeah, he has a good crew.
Look at this. Outside roof, windows, painting, landscaping. And then, I mean, this is a Home Depot special, right? But still.
Yeah, look at this drywall texture.
Yeah, he didn't even.
Home Depot price point too, though.
Yeah. So these guys got in here. Not only did they buy it and flip, they bought it, rehabbed it, and flipped it in 90 days.
Pros.
Oh yeah, these are pros. These guys. Yeah,
these are the good buyers you want.
And these guys will buy again and again and again. I mean, these guys will buy sight unseen because they know their neighborhood so well. So if I had a deal in this neighborhood, this would be my buyer. And let's go to click out of these pictures.
This drives me wild. I'm sorry. As
Here's
a contractor,
what's cool.
I'm like, take the outlet, put the outlet right here, put the mirror up and down.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What are you doing? But overall, they killed it. They killed it.
So go back to to the history.
An extra $500.
So here's what's cool. We know they paid $185. So what do you think you should bring that deal? If you had a same house in the same neighborhood, you know what they paid.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, man, I got a deal. What should I get it under contract for? 165 and then wholesale it for 185.
There you go.
I always add 15 on top of that, Jerry, because I assume that the assignment fee is not included in the recorded price.
Okay.
And so I would say it probably sold for 200 if I were like looking at it, and I'd say, okay, I think we could sell this deal for 200. Anything under that.
But my point is, Brent, you could if you're kind of new at wholesaling and you're looking at a deal and you're like, man, what should I get this under contract for? Go in there, look at flippers, look at what they're buying, what they're paying when they bought it, and then you can reverse engineer your number.
Yeah, and then if you go back in there, Pace, on that Zillow, it'll show who the listing agent was on it. And oftentimes, it's like 50-50 in my experience that the agent is also the investor.
Yeah.
They list their own properties.
Especially if it's, go back to Zillow. Let's see what that brokerage was called. Usually too, Brent, it's like a mom and pop brokerage too.
Right.
Those flippers.
Yeah.
Because the active flippers, because they want to save money. If they're active flippers, they're gonna do their own listings usually because they're gonna save a ton of money. So go to the Zillow one you had open, and then click out of that, and then let's look at where does it show us there? The brokerage. Scroll down, maybe.
Scroll down.
The listing agent.
Yep.
Should be in here somewhere. Right here.
Right there.
Sandbar Realty.
There it is.
My guess is that's their own brokerage or their own thing. Yeah. They're even smart. Look at this agent. This agent wants to be found. I love you. Kira Sykes. Yeah. You are my friend because you don't make me hunt you down and look up all these weird websites and Facebook message you to get your freaking number. You're an agent. Why are you not plastering the internet with your phone number?
Yep. And then you call up and see what they're buying.
Yeah.
Put your deal in front of them, guys.
We should call them.
We should.
It's
9 o'clock at night, but go for it.
Oh, it's late there.
It is. It's 8:49 over there. That never stopped me from calling.
Cute little house. I know. I do it anyway.
But look at, they're doing the drone shots. They've got professional photos. They're taking it serious. I can't remember if it was staged. I don't think it was staged, but that'd be, another feather in their cap of their experience,
Not typically at a 300 price point, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. How many days did it take? Let's look at their price history because I'm curious if they had to come down on price. Scroll down here. No, go back to scroll down and let's see what their price history was. Keep going right here. So, okay,
it went above, dude. It went above.
Look at they listed for 309 on June 27th. So
for 315.
About 2 weeks and went 315. They went over list. In this terrible market we're in.
Well, they're really smart. This fix and flipper stays underneath the median house price, right? And this is how you get over list. And I see a lot of people going, I know Jerry loves luxury for his own projects, but this is why when a new wholesaler comes to me like, Pace, I have this $2 million home. I'm like, bro, stay away from that crap when you're brand new because your buyers, like people will gobble those deals up in a day.
Let's try to guess, Pace, how much they made. What do you think they spent on that rehab?
Okay, so let's talk about
60.
They have an internal crew. Those guys have been on their crew. They do 10 projects a year together. They trust each other. They've been together for 5 to 10 years.
They're buying that flooring in bulk. You know what I mean?
$35 a square foot. 35.
I think that team is a team of Hispanic dudes that are all brothers. They do every single trade all on one crew, like Chava, like on my crew. Mm-hmm. He brings in 3 brothers. There's not one part of the project they outsource. They do it all internally, and they're all working fast. They probably got that whole entire reno done in less than 30 days, and I bet they spent 55 grand.
Yep.
That's why I say 50 to 60.
If it was a brand new flipper, they'd spend 100.
Yeah. I'd say if you were subbing all that out, 100. If you got your stuff dialed in, 55.
This
60.
is why fixing and flipping is so challenging, is because those fix and flippers are speedy. That guy's the best buyer you'll ever get because that guy will buy at a good price. He'll pay more than anybody else because he's like, oh yeah, my crew can get done with $100,000 renovation in 30 days for $55,000 because they've been on his team for 5 years, right?
So they probably cleared 50 on that deal. If you think about closing costs, I mean, I don't know if they got financing, but I'll bet you they internally listed that. So they probably saved on some commissions, right? Because they bought it for what was it, 185? So this is what I love trying to figure out another flipper's business model. Like, what did they make on this? Because if I'm actively flipping or if I'm actively wholesaling in Jacksonville, that's a hot buyer, right? That's an awesome buyer.
That's really interesting. When we put out deals, and maybe you guys experience this as well with the guys that do a lot of business, right? The Zach Keeps of the world, Pace, and Jerry, the other guys that are just doing 50 to 100 deals a year. They're always 20 grand under what I sell it to somebody like this that has a crew by themselves that goes out there. They don't have crazy costs. They're doing a lot of the work themselves, and they're always paying 20 to 25 grand higher. Do you guys see that? Do you see that, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that as a business model. The high volume flipping like that's brain damage. But I love wholesaling to those guys. Wholesaling to those guys. Let them run their operation where they're doing 50, 80 flips a year, and we'll just wholesale to those guys. They're great buyers.
Yeah,
but that's a tough model to do well at. I think I've done it, and it's not fun.
I've talked to all those
Pace
guys. And they're like, I would just. If they were to redo it, they would go into wholesaling.
Oh yeah,
they would
make way more money for 1/8 of the brain damage.
Yeah. Well, and listen, when there's markets where it kind of flattens out or starts decreasing a little bit, or it's just not increasing as much as the previous years, fee income is powerful. Fee income's powerful as opposed to capital gains. You know what I mean? And so you get low risk, you get high reward, you get to experience a lot of things that are going on. We see it right now, guys. We're seeing like a real tightening in the market in July. It's almost like, a lot of the investors go out of town. So there's a lot less people opening up our blasts, our emails, and reaching out. So we have to be really fast with the selling our deals and accepting offers on them, or they're just going to sit on the market and rot, and then it turns into a nightmare.
Brent, I'm curious. Do you like the list on Dispo at your desired price, or way under and get it to bid up and get a lot of attention?
It depends. It depends on the deal, but we usually are going to push values, Jerry. We do the opposite, but it depends on the market. It depends on when interest rates went bananas, right, in 2022, and the cash buyers kind of scattered, it was like, hey, listen, if you want this deal, it's yours. You know what I mean? As opposed to, in a more traditional market where it's like, all right, we'll take the highest and best based on, who's going to put in hard earnest money, what's the amount of earnest money they're going to put, and are they pretty close on the price? But we try to get the most out of every deal that we have, because we have marketing expenses. Because once you make that transition from outbound to inbound, you need to have a healthy marketing budget or you're done. And so we try to get the most out of everyone. And usually we find it from the people that are doing, maybe 5 to 10 deals a year as opposed to 50 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've got a interesting thing I'd like to bring up. I think it's interesting. Has anybody ever been curious about, if I borrow money from a private money lender, how do I pay that private money lender back? When do I pay them back? What does that relationship look like? What do my terms look like, et cetera? What if your private money lender comes to you on a deal that you bought, like a sub-2 deal, and they go, hey, I need some of my money right now. What do you do? I don't know if that's a common question. I get it a lot in my community because that's a lot of people are using private money and buying a lot of rentals. But I've got one of my private money lenders, great story. Desiree has actually come on Wholesale Hotline before. She's one of my private money lenders. Where did I find her? I found her because she was one of my sellers. I bought her house on Wolf Street for $110,000. She gets cash at closing. And before we distribute the money, I called Desiree and I said, what are you going to do with that $110,000? And she's like, oh, I'm going to pay off a van. I'm going to do this. I'm going to restructure some things. I go, why don't you put your money with me? Give me all $110,000. I'll put it into a couple of my deals and I'll pay you $1,100 a month for that $110,000. I've been paying this lady $1,100 for the last 5 years. Today is the first time she asked me for some of that money back. She actually wrote an email to me and Cody today. And the email says, hey, I'm not sure how much money you have of mine. And I don't know what properties it's on, but can I have this?
How does she not know how much
but
money
this is what I want to highlight to you guys. You guys think private money lenders are so sophisticated. And you guys think that they are like sitting there being so meticulous about things. Check this out. This came in literally 5:25 p.m., so about an hour ago. She says, how are you guys? I hope all is well. Miss you guys. Her and I text all the time. I'm looking to pull out 35 grand. Not sure what amounts we have out and on what properties. Also, do you have a time frame? This is very typical. You'll get this kind of stuff. Private money lenders are actually really lackadaisical. They're not like the bank. They're not crazy. They're just individuals that are happy to get a monthly return. Oh, Ayelet says, I'm a PML for Jerry. Why can't I be a freaking PML for Jerry?
Yeah, she is. She's in a deal. Yeah. With me. That's awesome.
So what I'm going to do on that 35 grand, my partner, Cody, literally just texted me, goes, hey, do you want to use Pace's cash on this rental to pay Desiree back 35 grand? And then our company can pay Pace the 12% interest. And my reply was, I don't have any cash.
It's all in this property.
I literally was just talking to Jerry about how much money I've spent on this Montana property. So
it's in the pickleball court.
It is in the pickleball court, sadly, not making me a return. So what I'll do is I'll call Desiree and I'll say, hey, how quickly do you need it? And then what I'll do is I'll send out an email to my private money lenders and go, hey, who wants to replace Desiree? She's happy. Here's her phone number. If you want to call her, verify I've been made 4 years of payments to her. She wants money to go and build a trucking company. Okay. And this is the kind of stuff that she texts me separately. I want to show you guys this as well. Oh, look who's behind you. Johnny. So let me show you guys this so you guys can see what it looks like.
We're doing hot sale whole line. That's what we call it in our house.
Oh, hot sale whole line.
Yeah.
You guys call it that?
Yeah. Hot sale whole line.
Bro, we should get you a deal on Wholesale Hotline.
Sale line, whole line.
Why don't we do that?
I'll take it.
Okay, so last thing I'll show you guys. If I was brand new, I would want to have seen this kind of stuff just to show you that these kind of conversations, these are the kind of conversations you have with your private money lenders.
They just had a baby?
She had, I don't know. No, she's definitely not having babies. Just sent you and Cody an email. Oscar was approved for his own company and dump trunk, so he needs a down payment, wanting to pull out 35 grand, lent money for now to get this company rolling. I said, okay, no problem. How's life? You're amazing, right? They don't call you every week. They don't bother you every week. They're super chill. Private money lenders are not what you guys think. This is where money comes from, right? You want to go buy a deal. I mean, even Jerry, he has so much more money than me. I don't know how he buys eggs, milk, cereal for
I dump all my
army of kids.
It all goes to Costco pace.
But even Jerry is borrowing money from people in Wholesale Hotline audience, ILET. Well, do you know what the deal is?
Was it 200K in a I forget what it is.
What's the deal for?
It's I don't remember.
Single family?
It's have her put it in here. Yeah, single family.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a subtail deal, isn't it?
So you bought a deal subject to, you're taking it retail, and you needed 200 grand for the renovation.
If that's the one I'm thinking of, she'll leave a comment, tell me what deal we're in. I can't remember off the top of my head. 83K, yeah. It's a subtail, so we bought it with a lot of equity. We're doing a little bit of work to it, and then I'm going to flip it.
I love that.
You ever do subtail?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time.
83K.
I'll tell you honestly, I have not done a subtail deal in probably half a year.
Just because you keep everything.
I sadly am keeping.
You keep everything.
Too many things. Any cash
You're like a
buyers
collector.
Demand, I think is how we would say it. I demand you to go and get. I demand you to go get a propwire.com free account.
Where you been, dude? We were just showing how to do the cash buyer thing.
Yeah, legit.
Your problem solved.
I demand you to watch me do this again. If you need a cash buyer, this is how easy it is. I learned today. I was today years old when Jerry showed me how to do this. I can go into
cash buyers.
I like flipped properties.
Yeah.
Right.
The only reason why you might do the other one is if you think that it's a good buy and hold, and you're looking for, because the cash buyer category could be flippers, but they could also be holders.
Okay, cool. So we chose the city. We chose absentee owner and flipped property. They don't live there. It's recently been flipped by how speedy the deeds had been transferred.
Make sure you click that matched.
Match all selected. Okay, great. And then I want to go,
there we go.
Price. I want to go max value for me. I want to stick around 400,000 or 500,000 because the average purchase price in the United States right now is $430,000. I want to be under what people are buying houses for because those houses move way faster. Okay, so here you go. He just found 1,100 cash buyers in one city. By the way, these are free.
Yeah, free.
Everything that this is kind of. I don't even know why you're giving people stuff for free. You're a lunatic. Okay, so you've got.
I'm trying to learn from you, Pace.
Well, yeah. Well, then people crash into your boat.
Wait, how many do they own? 26.
That's a great buyer. That's the best buyer right there.
Yeah, because they're past the beginner. They're past the mom and pop. They probably have property management, doing things right.
Yeah, they have somebody in the office.
And they're in Jacksonville.
Yep. And
but look at this.
Sarah Chapel.
Oh my goodness. She owns these properties in her name.
Mm-hmm.
So I take that back. She's not a seasoned.
How do I add funds?
You got to put money in your wallet.
Can I do that?
Yeah, right there. You could add $20 if you wanted.
With what?
It's going to want your credit card.
Okay, get 300 skips per month.
Oh, that's our promo we're doing.
Are you kidding
Which,
me?
by the way, I have a Pace Morby affiliate. So if you buy it with your affiliate, you'll end up saving the money.
That's sick. That's how I buy that Chipotle money. Okay, yes, claim this deal. Okay, got it. Let me put my credit card in here, guys. You guys don't mind. Here, I'll just show you straight up. Okay. Verified. Okay, there's the credit card number. Oh, I should not show you guys the verification.
Yeah, I would feel much better, Pace, if you didn't.
Let's not show the verification code. How about that? Okay. I know that off the top of my head. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. What is it?
Brent's taking notes.
Okay, I understand. Complete purchase. Dope. Are you kidding me, dude?
Super easy.
That's the.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Less than 10 cents a skip. That's like 8 cents a skip.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me immediately when this deal became available? Okay, so we're gonna turn on manual. No. Okay, view on StreamYard. Got it. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the stage. This thing's loading right now. It's taking my money, which is awesome. I love paying for things. Okay. And I'm gonna.
What's it doing right now?
It's just loading. It's got to. It's got to get proof that I have money in that account. It's my,
There we go.
okay, here we go. Sarah Chappell, let's go to owner. Add it to the stage so we can get it. Okay, skip trace. Yes, use PropWire skip trace saver credits. Yes, bro. Give me this lady's number. Okay, so I got all of these things.
And an email.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock at night over there. She's in Jacksonville, Florida. It's 9 o'clock. I'm not opposed to calling people, but also this is a really good buyer. I would show you guys on a buyer that I probably didn't care about, but this is a buyer I actually
You don't want, yeah.
I would call her.
What would you say if you didn't have a deal? What would you say? Like, would you even call her now or wait till you had a deal?
I wouldn't.
I mean,
it depends on your personality. I would do either one, but here's what I would say. I'd say, hey, Sarah, my name is Pace. I'm brand new to real estate. Saw you own 26 rentals. I want to find you a deal.
what are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
What's your box? Yeah. Are you looking to buy soon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the homework. I looked at all 26 of your properties. I'm super impressed. I'd love to have you even as like a mentor. I'd love to bring you deals. I would talk so fast.
Do you like the reverse wholesaling? Do you, Brent, do you do that model much where you find your buyers and then find them inventory?
Personally, I think
no, but it's smart, but we don't.
Yeah.
Here's why I think it is what you should do when you start. Brent knows what a deal looks like.
Yeah.
Pace knows what a deals look like. Jerry knows what a deal looks like. Jamil knows what a deal looks like. I don't need to call a buyer to find out if it's a deal or not. But when you're brand new, and one of the reasons why so many regulations are coming out against wholesaling is because wholesalers are doing wholesale the wrong way when they're brand new. They're not verifying with somebody else something they don't know. They're just over contracting, like Jerry said, getting people in 10-day inspection periods, filing memorandums. Okay. You guys want a good example of this? This is something I'm dealing with right now on a property. I just posted a YouTube video of me calling the seller and negotiating with her. Let's go to my channel real fast.
Jerry, let me ask you this. Let's say that you're doing virtual wholesaling and you're locking everything up over the phone. What is the percent? Because I've done this. I've been talking to my audience. I've been talking to my students. I've been talking to people around the country that are locking up a lot of virtual deals. What do you think the cancellation rate on those deals is?
I would guess
Lock
50.
up a property and have to cancel.
Virtual guys?
Yes.
I bet you 50%.
I've been hearing 90.
90? Oh.
That's why we have a problem, bro.
Yeah.
That's the exact problem.
To God, it's not 90, bro.
90%. Yeah, because what people are doing is they're locking it up at any price and then beating up the owners during the inspection period, right? And so, one, it's lock up everything. So you see, guys, there's a lot on Instagram. There's a lot out and about that's like, oh, we locked up 15 deals this week. We locked up 60 deals this month. We've locked up all of that. Guys, don't fall for that.
Yeah.
Locking up a deal, it means nothing.
Nothing.
It's like having a lead. It means nothing. The only thing that has something is actual closing and getting paid. That's the whole thing. And so whenever I see people post about a tremendous amount of deals that they've locked up, I cut it by 90%. I do, because that's the reality, because I know. And so, guys, you got to be really, really, really strong with your numbers and understand what a deal is and what it's not, and be able to be honest with the property owner and say, listen, this is what's going to happen. Somebody's going to offer you whatever you want. This is the same exact thing that listing agents do to property owners. They list it for whatever they want to list it for, and then they beat them up over time.
So, guys, this is a real seller. I met with a seller 30 days ago in her home. This is me. If you guys want to watch this video explaining all her options, I did get this property under contract. And here's the tough thing about this deal. The tough thing about this deal is that I got under contract. I go open up escrow. We do a title search. Guess what I find?
Issues on title.
2 memorandums from wholesalers.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Two memorandums from wholesalers. So this lady, by the way, is in foreclosure. I can't buy her house and close on her house before the foreclosure because 2 wholesalers.
How old were they, Pace? Those
like
memorandums.
One's 1 year and one's 2 years.
Yeah. Guys, do not do that. I get a memorandum so you don't get backdoored, but do not keep those on and hold sellers hostage. Did they try to hold the seller hostage? Like, did they want money?
one of the wholesalers was like, whoa, I didn't even know I did that. And then the other wholesaler's like, pay me $10,000, I'll remove it. So I call my attorney, Sean St. Clair. He's been on Wholesale Hotline a bunch. I know Brent uses him as well. And I said, hey, Sean, will you reach out and it cost me about $1,200 on my side to remove somebody's memorandum and go after them. And it sucks because now what I have to do is I have to play a game as the actual real investor. I'm postponing her foreclosure as long as I can. And if I can't get the memorandum pulled off before the foreclosure, I will have to catch up her arrears gambling. I'm playing gambling, or I let the lady go. Okay. And somebody on somebody on my team said, I'm not going to say their name, but one of the girls on my team that runs my transactions, I have 5 transaction coordinators on our team. One of the girls is like, let's just let this deal go. We could focus our time and energy somewhere else. Why? Why would my TC have that input? Because my team makes some of the money when I buy deals, and they're sitting there going, Pace, you're spending all this time on this one seller when you could have already gotten 5 more contracts in escrow. And you're spending all this time. I go, so-and-so, I cannot let this lady lose her house because this other wholesaler didn't care.
So Pace, let's play devil's advocate. You're the wholesaler. She signs a contract. Then she, for whatever reason, says, I don't want to sell it anymore.
Yeah.
So now you have a wholesaler who feels entitled to that deal because she did sign a contract with that wholesaler and then for whatever reason changed her mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So is the wholesaler justified to put that memorandum on there and hold her hostage a year later?
If it's me, yes. If I've done that, I'm the wholesaler, the seller doesn't perform, I absolutely put a memorandum on the property because I actually was going to close.
Yep.
The difference
That's
is
the difference.
Idiots are going out there with no intention or ability to close. I mean, you could get funded by me, you could get funded by Jerry, you could get funded by half a dozen people in the comments in this podcast right now. And you go out and you lock somebody up. The other thing is I grew up like 5 years ago in this game and I go, I'm just going to sue the seller. I love suing sellers for specific performance. I've never lost. I've done it 7 times. And every single time I get a reduction on my purchase price and the seller has to pay for my attorney's fees every time. I've never lost.
So I would say there's an exception. We kind of have an internal rule in our business where if they're elderly, I don't care what they sign. If they say, I don't want to sell it to you anymore, let them out of that. Like don't hold them to your contract. Don't hold them hostage. They're elderly. That's not going to go down well. If that hits, which by the way, guys, I try to follow this stuff a lot and I've been reading articles. Some of the regulation that's coming out now is on memorandums. They're trying to stop those because of this exact thing, what just happened to you. Yeah. And so do you know how terrible you're going to look when that hits the local news and you are trying to force an elderly person to sell you their house? Doesn't matter what they signed. That's where home investors got fried. Home investors got in so much trouble recently where they did that undercover, investigation on them and everything. It was because it was elderly people that they were targeting and they were, mistreating. So it's just not worth it, guys.
Yeah, Sharon Lee Smith, good to see you. She's awesome. Most of the time, they immediately put a memorandum on. There's a gentleman in Phoenix, Brent, you know him, Sam. I won't say his last name. They used to door knock. It was him and 2 other partners. They would door knock all pre-foreclosures. They would literally lock these people up at any price, retail price, 10,000 over retail, and they would file a memorandum and then wait till another wholesaler came along and said, pay me $10,000.
Or just wait till that person tries to sell it even retail later.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the memorandum sitting there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's the easiest thing to file. You go down to the county recorder's office. Now what it is you can just go, the county recorder's office in Phoenix has 4 locations, 1 in Mesa, 1 in Tempe, 1 in Phoenix, where there's like actual humans. And then 1 on the west side, Buckeye. You can go in there, slide your memorandum into the scanner, pay $7, and they file a memorandum. It's that easy.
The seller doesn't have to sign.
No, they don't.
No, a lot of states, the seller doesn't even have to sign.
For us in our purchase contract, so if I pull up my wholesale purchase contract, I'll pull it up. We'll give it to you guys in the side chat real quick. Let me pull up the Dropbox action. And man,
do you remember your password?
Somebody will get me in. Let's go. Boom. There we go. Login successful. Okay, so let's go to wholesale contract. Wholesale contract DMD. Okay. Wholesale contract and assignment. Assignment, no, not creative. Okay. Form wholesale purchase contract, not creative finance. Okay, cool. This is it. All right. So open in, let me give you guys the link. We'll give you guys this nice little Dropbox link. Do you have a wholesale, where can they get a wholesale contract from you?
Wholesalercontracts.com, baby.
You like it,
that one I do remember.
He does remember that one. Okay, cool. All right. So let's go over this just real quick, guys, because I believe I do get permission from my sellers in my contracts to file memorandums. So let's go through this.
I bet you have it in there.
This was signed by, or this was created by Sean St. Clair. Let me go to this stupid thing and make it a little bit bigger. And I think it's in section 11. I think it is. Miscellaneous addendums. Okay, memorandum of contract right here. 10.5. Seller agrees that buyer may execute, acknowledge, and record a memorandum of this contract in the form attached, blah, 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 and record of the notice of termination in the official records of the county. And I tell the sellers, they see it, they do sign off on it, even though it's only a 3-page contract. Okay. This contract gives me permission and the seller does sign off on it. But even in that situation, even if the seller gives you permission, you don't file a memorandum if you can't close on the freaking property. The only reason you use a memorandum is if the seller's trying to shop you somewhere else. That's
Yeah,
it.
Jerry. So let's say that you've got an 82-year-old woman that literally says, "Oh, hey, Jerry, somebody came by and they showed me that you were selling the property and they said that they could give me more money. I want to cancel with you and go with them."
Right. So
Sound mind, you went through their attorney. Everything was good. It's not like this is like some, you know what I mean? Do you just, because you're older, you're just like, yeah, whatever.
I don't want the bad press on something like that. I don't care what their reason is. If they're elderly, I'm whatever reason, I'm out.
You trying to renegotiate
You
your price?
you will never be right with that. If that were to go before anybody, it doesn't matter if she was trying to rip you off and did all the wrong things and recontract for a higher price, backdoor you, all the things. It does not matter in front of authorities, in front of a court or a judge or anybody, a news outlet, anybody. You are always the bad guy with elderly.
What if you knew that the person that was like snaking your deal could not perform and they're going to be back down at the price that you have it at?
So a bad wholesaler's got it.
Yep.
And I'm the back door.
No, you're the way you had it under contract.
Okay.
You have it under contract, but you know
gotcha.
the slippery snake, the Sam is.
I see what you're saying.
Is coming back, and you know there's some bad actors here that'll lock up somebody's property and then put a memorandum on theirs.
Dude,
and then not
wait
be able
till
to
Pennsylvania law goes into effect. Do you know how much shady? I mean, you just invited the most dishonest transactions in Pennsylvania with their new law. Like that is exactly what's going to happen. Everyone's gonna be backdooring each other, cash buyers going around, and it's all legal. In fact, it's encouraged by Pennsylvania.
Right.
So to answer that though, I would certainly try to educate her that I'm a real buyer and that I actually perform.
Yep.
And even if I'm going to wholesale it, I will always step in and buy if I need to, no matter what. I'll either fund it with my own cash. I'll bring PML in. I'll buy. If I ever need to buy, I'll buy. And I have a history of buying, so I can actually say that and show that.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say to grandma, I'd say, hey, I see that you've got another offer here for 10,000 more. And I understand you want to get the most money that you can, even though we have a legally binding contract in place. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at this. Let me walk you through with this. Let me ask you a couple things, because more money on paper, but you get no closing isn't more money, right? So let me help you make sure that what you're looking at is actually legit. Oh, look here, they've got contingencies. Oh, look here, they've got no earnest money. Have you asked them if they actually they can show you proof that they have the funds to buy your house? I can show you that, right? So I would certainly fight for my contract. But at the end of the day, if she's adamant about, no, I want out, I don't want to sell, at the end of the day, I'm going to let her off.
100%.
That's just me. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, guys.
We always make sure that the family's involved or an attorney's involved or somebody else is involved. And usually they're already there and they're helping with the process anyway. But if it's just a one-off and we're just speaking with somebody that, especially if it's their owner occupied property, they've been there forever.
just know this, in wholesale real estate, they are looking for this story. They are all looking for it. If NAR could get a hold of a story like that, or a news outlet, or any of the anti-wholesaling,
that's what they all think. They all think that all we do is
an old lady. Yeah,
we're taking the pearls off of some old lady's neck. Seriously, that is the interpretation that they have on it. When in fact, I don't remember the last time we worked with anybody that was older than 70. To be honest, it's all these people that are inheriting the properties, or it's tired landlords getting rid of their properties that their tenants have beat them up. I mean, the idea that people are out there looking for grandma's house to jump on, before she's ready to move and like do something.
And she's got dementia. Yeah.
So I'm a little bit different. I had this happened to me quite a bit actually with Homevestors. So when I was with Homevestors, I think that the elderly people are typically responding to postcards more often. Yep. And so I did find a lot
PPC.
More, yeah, and PPC.
Right.
So I would get a lot more elderly. I'd say 10% of my sellers were probably elderly, which is significant, right?
Yeah, that adds up every month. That's a couple, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, when I was just solo dolo, just me and my wife, it was just us two, and I was doing 10 contracts a month, I'd get one seller over 70, but that's still a lot, right? You're running into it at least once a month. So I ran into a seller, this is about 8 years ago, that wanted to cancel the contract. He was a vet. They're older. And I said, no problem. I'm happy to cancel the contract and remove my memorandum, because I was at the time, I was uneducated. I didn't know really when to put memorandums and when not to. And I said, no problem. I'm happy to do it. All I need you to do is sign here saying that I will release you of this contract if you do not sell this house to anyone else, retail or another investor, for the next 12 months.
That's smart. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Because if you're changing your mind, you're not going to sell anymore.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
And then I find out 3 months later, you close with somebody else. That had actually happened to me previously. So I'm like, also, I don't want to look with a vet. So guess what happens? 3 weeks later, I get a call from a title company. Hey, you need to remove this memorandum. We're trying to close. I go, no, here's the agreement. I'm not moving that. I will remove that memorandum at the 12-month mark if he hasn't sold it to somebody else. But it also said in the agreement that if he's trying to sell to somebody else, I get to close at whatever that price is. And so I've just learned that that's what, Bobby's trying to FaceTime me with Jamil, I think. Hi, Bobby. I'm on Wholesale Hotline. How are you doing? Hey, Jamil finally made it to Wholesale Hotline, guys. He's here today.
All right.
Yeah, Jamil.
Are you guys driving over to you're in downtown Kalispell, it looks like. Are you coming to my house? Yeah, come on over. Yeah, come to my house. Me and Jerry are here. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Pace, that's flipping genius. That's really smart. In fact, I'm going to memorandum old ladies now with those.
Yeah. Because you're doing what you should do. You're protecting yourself, but also giving them an out. If they say, I changed my mind, I'm just not going to do the thing. I just don't want to sell a house. No problem.
No problem.
12 months, I'll remove the memorandum as long as you abide by these. And you give me the opportunity. If you decide to sell, I'm first right of refusal.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad I showed up at Hot Sale Hotline.
Yeah. And I learned how to find a cash buyer on PropWire today. That's freaking dope. Like, what the heck?
This is why you come every Monday.
Yes. So Pennsylvania is interesting because you said everybody's going to start backdooring each other. Can you kind of walk through what you mean by that?
Because the new law that goes into effect January of 2025, if you're wholesaling, then you have to disclose, you have to have a license. That's one. You have to disclose to the seller that you intend to wholesale the property. Now, what is intent? Intent means you have a history of it. So that's your regular thing that you do, or your primary thing that you do. And if you cannot show that you can buy it, which Pace can show he can buy it, Brent can, you can show, hey, I do buy properties. I have a history of that, and I have funds or access to funds. But if you intend to wholesale it, you have to tell the seller, look, seller, just so you know, in writing disclosed, you can back out of this contract for 30 days for any reason whatsoever without cause, or until we close, whichever's first. And so not only do you tell them that, but they actually have that right legally. So in other words, your legally binding contract is not legally binding, it's worthless. Mm-hmm. So at any moment, another wholesaler could offer more. They cancel your contract, go with the new buyer. Or a cash buyer says, you know what? Rather than pay you 20 grand, I'm going to go straight to the seller, offer them 10 grand more. I'll save 10 grand and I can legally do that. So cancel your contract, redo a new one, and away we go. So they've written this law intentionally to screw wholesalers, and it's going to be a mess. Imagine this. You got escrow opened, right? And now a seller can just cancel for any reason. You're inviting cash buyers to go around you. You're inviting other wholesalers to go around you. You're just asking for the marketplace to be dishonest with each other.
Yeah, why would we do that? Slimy, I would move to Pennsylvania and start doing deals there.
Can you imagine all the crooked wholesalers are all virtually wholesaling in Pennsylvania? Well, they got to get a license, so we'll see how they get around that.
The list will be the number one list in that market.
The problem with it,
the other wholesalers' deals.
So I've had a couple conversations. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I've had a couple people that say, Jerry, this is no big deal because I'm going to build rapport with the seller, and the seller's not going to backdoor me because I got an awesome relationship with them.
Sometimes.
Maybe true, but what happens when the cash buyer goes to them and says, hey, you know that guy that you got a relationship with, Brent, that you feel like is your guy? He's actually selling your contract to me for $20,000 more. I'll tell you what, let's cut him out, save you 10, save me 10, let's do a new deal. You're asking the seller you're inviting that, right? Like maybe the seller says, well, no, I have a contract with Brent. I'm not going to do that to him. But my point is you introduce a lot of vulnerability to your business now, and there's no way Brent's going to establish a business model in Pennsylvania where he doesn't know if his contracts are going to actually close. You're not going to build a business around that.
It's the takedown. You have to take them down.
Yeah.
Right, Jerry? I mean, listen, it's going to roll. It's going to roll into other states.
I would not leave Pennsylvania. I would not leave. Nope. You know how many deals are going to be in Pennsylvania?
It's just like Illinois when they made those changes, the guys that were established and could close deals are still making a fortune 5 years later.
I mean, look at Nita Patel, right? She's in TTP and she's sub 2. She does 5 deals a month on her own in Illinois, in Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The smartest thing you could do would be get funding, go to Pennsylvania and go to South Carolina, either of those states, because those states are really cracking down on wholesaling. So it opens the door for legit buyers to get awesome deals.
Great question here. Joel Shilpy. Every time I think about Joel, I think about him picking me up and crushing me right in my crotch.
Why?
He picked me up in Dallas. He's shorter. So he's like 2 feet shorter than me. He's like, oh, let me pick you up. And he picks me up and his shoulder goes right into where my baby maker is.
He comes on our couples live. I do with Anne-Marie, and he's awesome. He has really good questions.
He is a smart dude. So he says, what about agents? Some back out at times. This is a lot less common. Agents understand.
Back out what? What do you mean?
Out of a contract. Okay. Very uncommon.
Very rarely. Okay.
Right? It's happened to me twice, maybe. And guess what we do? We just call their broker. The one person that agents are afraid of the most is their broker.
And if that doesn't work, call the real estate commission. Call the real estate commission.
Yeah, and you don't even say, "Hey, I'm gonna call your broker." You don't threaten. You just call their broker. You go, "Hey, I'm just," and you don't say, "Gosh, dang it, your agent." You go, "Oh my gosh, we're under contract. I've got all the money set up. Everything's ready to close, and I can't get a hold of this agent. Are they okay? Is something going on?" And the broker's like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck is happening?" I've called them. I texted them. I've done everything for the last 2 weeks. That's what we did, and the broker calls the agent calls us back. Why the heck did you call my broker? You haven't called me in 2 weeks. Nobody's heard from you. What do you mean? Why did I call your broker? So call their broker. And if they are the broker, call their state commission.
Mm-hmm.
They are regulated. This is kind of the good thing about being regulated. And this is why I wish wholesaling was fully regulated, because then I could go, this wholesaler's acting a fool. Call them on their crap.
Yeah, and they'll get fined or their license revoked. And
today was a good wholesale hotline.
It's great.
Oh my gosh. I mean, they're all good, but
yeah,
I like this better. I think I'm going to fly to Arizona.
Come hang out every Monday
from Puerto Rico in the future.
Every Monday.
Or Brent's studio.
Brent's studio is magical. The challenging thing with Brent's studio, I love being there, but then I have to zip home.
Traffic.
To my house to get creative, my creative finance podcast on Mondays. And I'm always 7 minutes late and I look like just an idiot.
I mean, I don't get out much, but Brent's studio is over the top.
It's amazing.
I hope someday I'm rich enough to have a studio like that.
Someday.
You have a deck that goes out to a lake that you.
Yeah, I've got a fake mountain. You guys can look at the real mountain just outside. You know,
You guys would laugh if you saw my camera setup. You would be embarrassed for me.
Okay, you're right. What do you got going on this week, Brent?
Yeah, Wednesday on the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live show, we're going to destroy all fears that you have of being on the phone. So join us. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I got Zach Keeps coming on. I got Derek Jarr coming on. I've got Eugene Latson, who talks to 100 property owners every single day. Hopefully he's coming on.
What do you mean, Brent? Destroy your fears.
The number one thing that stops us is the fear of talking to strangers, the fear of rejection, the fear of getting going, the 400-pound phone. You know what I mean? It's that there's some blockage there, especially if we're not used to making a lot of calls or talking to a lot of people. So we're going to destroy all that and give you a ton of confidence to go out there and be wildly proactive and take massive imperfect action. And that's all this business is about. You can have all the best lists. You can use PropWire to pull all the data. It's right there. It's free. You're already paying for your cell phone. Guys, you're one conversation away from a $5,000 or a $50,000 deal or opportunity. I mean, it's all comes down to talking to people every single day. And the better you get at it, the more money you're going to make.
I mean, honestly, you're not actually doing the business until you pick up the phone and talk to somebody. All the 100%. Other stuff you're doing, like analyzing and lead gen, none of that, that's not doing the business. The business happens. It starts when you pick up the phone and talk to somebody.
Yep. Don't do research on a property until you know that they want to sell it. Right? Like people get stuck in that loop all the time where they're just like, oh my gosh, there's this vacant house down the street. I've ran all the comps. I know what the rehab budget is. They've never even talked to the property owner. You know what? I've done it a ton of times. I'm like running these numbers. I'm already thinking about how much I'm going to make on this deal. I haven't even talked to the property owner. You got to get out there and you got to just use this phone. It is such a tool. It is such a tool. It can be used for escapism or it could be used to build your fortune. Your choice. So join me Wednesday. What about you guys? You guys got the big event.
Well, don't we got to go boating right now?
We got community camp the rest of the week. We've got hundreds of people in town. We shut down the airport and we've got Jamil that just showed up. In fact, we got Ben Walls is here. Love us some Ben Walls. So we are running community camp this whole week. We got Vina Jetty in town. We got Abraham Gray in town, Jamil Damji in town. We've got, Heather Blankenship drove 10 days, 3,000 miles
in her RV, right?
In her RV after a month after she had a baby to get to community camp. And that all starts.
I can't wait to hang out with her. She's awesome.
She's the best.
I love
her. I think she's going to catch up to you with 10 kids. They're still making them, bro. So guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Next week, Jamil Damji will be on Wholesale Hotline. And you know what? We should do a little bit of PropWire stuff. Can we call some buyers next week?
We should let's somehow get somebody who's got a deal and call on buyers in their market and see if we can move their deal.
I like it.
That'd be fun.
I like it. Okay, guys, appreciate you so much. We will see you guys next week on Wholesale Hotline.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3. So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.